Welcome guys to another video. I'm going to be reading what the Vice President of EA, yes, the Vice President, said about SimCity Build It when it came out back in 2014. So we're going to go through what the game aspired to be, and I'm going to essentially give my opinion how that has led up to its legacy here in 2021, and where's SimCity Build It today, essentially, and so let's get through it. This is what the Vice President of EA said. This was October 10th, 2014. This was right when SimCity Build It was released. So 7 years ago. The game's been around for 7 years. It's a major mobile game, essentially. Evolving from the SimCity franchise of PC games. And those were actually pretty popular on PC. So it's no wonder that SimCity Build It became popular at times, but it seems like it's declined in recent years, especially with quality of updates. So let's get through and see what the original purpose of SimCity Build It was, essentially. Alright, so SimCity Build It has been teased here and there, but specific details have been a bit sparse. That is, until now. This is 2014. We recently had the chance to ask EA's mobile vice president and general manager, Jason Willig, some questions about the series' new mobile outing. I was also able to get a live demo at EA's recent Naughty and Nice event in New York, so I've got some serious impressions to share. After the questions, of course. Alright, so let's see what he's got to say. Oh look, there's SimCity Build It. There it is. Alright. This is what, this was from 148 Apps. They were asking questions about this new platform. In 2014, everyone was interested because when Jason Willig and EA, when they said, we're going to make this a mobile franchise, I think the fans of the PC edition of SimCity were really happy because to make this a mobile experience, it made it more accessible for maybe you don't have a PC, and it made it really more accessible for more people. So let's see what the question was asked. Right. Aside from the platform, obviously, what would you say are some of the biggest differences between SimCity Build It and SimCity? Okay. Jason said, there are similarities with the PC game, but SimCity Build It is by design very different. Okay, I don't know if this still applies. I believe it does. I actually asked someone on YouTube recently this question, and what is the difference? Let's get through it. Data layers, disasters, and specializations. But the whole there's a rich simulation under the hood, and we've retained iconic elements like zones, services, traffic, data layers, disasters, and specializations. But the whole experience has been reimagined to make SimCity more approachable for mobile players. The whole point was to make it more accessible, essentially. We changed the name to help players understand that this is an all-new way to experience SimCity. Remember, it's not supposed to be just a mobile version of SimCity. This is a different game. It's an entirely different game. This is not SimCity Lite for mobile, exactly. It's a ground-up design for a new generation of mobile gamers that we hope will also appeal to our most die-hard loyal fans. Not replacing what they love about the PC games, rather putting a different spin on a SimCity experience while retaining its essence and magic. We introduced crafting in the SimCity Build It, as well as the buying and selling of those crafted goods. It's super fun and intuitive for a mobile city builder. We also simplified zoning and services to make them more approachable. The game map is quite large, with plenty of room to expand. Yeah, but one thing you don't mention, Jason, is that it's hard to expand. You can't just expand and, you have to collect those items from the thought bubbles. They end up being hard. Comment down below if you agree with me on this, but it takes too long to expand your city. I find that incredibly ridiculous. Anyways, let's get through this. And while Build It is designed to be played with while connected to the internet, just like most mobile games like it, players can continue in offline mode if their connection is interrupted. Though some features will obviously be disabled, like trading goods in the global market, visiting other players' towns, and making IAPs, blah, blah, blah. Actually, I'm glad he mentioned that because you may not know this, but I actually play offline more than I do online, essentially. There's not many features, but, if you're building your city, you can build your city easily offline. You only need online for, club wars and trading and all that. Alright. And finally, we added an all-new crafting mechanic that will let players create goods to fuel their progression and even trade with friends. We think it's an awesome addition that will really resonate with mobile gamers. Wow. The trading with friends, that's awesome. Alright, so this is what they asked again. Does SimCity Build It do anything to take advantage of iOS 8's Metal or the new iPhone 6 and 6 Plus hardware? If not, is anything planned? That's how you know this. Oh, their new phone back then was the iPhone 6. Yeah, so that's how you know this was an old article. Alright, so Jason said, not at the moment. The game is nearly complete, so we didn't have time to go too deep with the new hardware. But we think players will be surprised to see how far we push the hardware. Okay, I know this seems a little outdated. Ooh, look at SimCity Build It. Ooh, it looks a little different, honestly. Those were the original old days. Looks kind of different. Okay, 148 app says, were there any unexpected challenges in designing an all-new SimCity mobile device? For mobile devices. Jason said, where do I start? Yes, there were a lot of challenges making this game. So, it was a tough game to make. First and foremost was the challenge of bringing this amazing but relatively complex PC experience to a small touchscreen, and to a massive new group of gamers who play very differently than their PC counterparts. That's true. That's so true. Is that you can't, say, there's a difference between PC gamers and mobile gamers. I play games on PC sometimes, but there's a difference. Mobile games, it's just, there's more, it's just different. It's really just different. Next was to open up the magic of SimCity to a mobile audience who want and expect different things out of their gaming experience, but who also love what SimCity represents: strategy, challenge, meaningful choices, open-endedness, and a healthy dose of control and chaos. Honestly, there's not much strategy, but it's a lot of tapping. But there's some tips you could follow, which I did videos on tips, so if you want to go look back on my channel, I appreciate that. The biggest challenge overall was preserving the authenticity and integrity of SimCity, while making it more approachable and immediate for both a new audience and long-standing fans of the franchise. Okay. Alright, we're gonna get through this. I think this article's ending soon. Alright, 148 app says, I can still trigger all sorts of disasters to trash my city, right? Maybe not alien invasion like in SimCity 2000, but perhaps a big fire or something. Well, yeah, I like how he mentions in this one, though, SimCity 2000. Let's not forget, you may not know this, but if you look at the history of SimCity Build It, it's evolved from the franchise of SimCity. This is a computer game that goes back to the late 1990s, essentially. And, it's evolved into this popular modern game that has 51,000 followers on Twitter right now. So, it's really grown since then. But I actually see, it seems like both have declined, honestly. And there's been those wars about, the PC versions. There's other building games on PC. However, when you look on mobile platforms, it seems like SimCity Build It. When you look at building games, it looks like it's the supreme game. You may know what I'm talking about. Comment. I forgot what it was called, but what was that called? Never mind. I'm not going to waste time on this. But there is a game competing on SimCity on PC. So it has dominated the mobile platform in this genre, essentially. Okay, anyways. All right, Jason said about the disasters. Oh, yeah, there are disasters in SimCity Build It. It's a feature that gets unlocked once the player hits a certain population threshold, which is 90,000, I believe. And he's talking about Vu Tower, essentially. Taking on disaster challenges earns players golden keys that they can use to specialize their cities. There are several disasters with more planned. Okay, well, he must have not meant much more because there's not much disasters, honestly, in the Vu Tower. There is the meteorite, meteor storm. There is the robot, tornado, alien invasion, something else. I'm sorry, I forgot. I don't know this. I haven't paid attention, really. But I know there's like 4 or 5 or 6. There's not much. So I wish they could have added on that. However, what I will compliment on them is that they did good on the wars, like the war disasters. Like, that was better than the Vu Tower disasters, essentially. Thanks to Jason for answering. So that'll be it. Thanks for Jason for answering our questions, and I have to admit I'm looking forward to getting some hands-on time with SimCity Build It. Well, maybe in 2014, but, the game had a lot of updates. It's true. This game used to be like a top game that updated a lot, essentially. But in 2021, we're seeing updates like my last video, the Brass Stars Bridges update, where we're just not seeing the productivity from the development team. And then again, you have to understand that. I completely understand that. SimCity Build It, I want to tell you something, is owned by EA. Now, EA, they make games like Madden, a lot of video games, right? The sports video games, essentially. And, they make a lot of stuff. They're Electronic Arts, they're like a top video game publisher, essentially. And, I don't know, because there's not as much demand as their higher selling video games, they might not put that emphasis on SimCity Build It. However, I hope through my videos I can make a revival of the game. And the fact is that it wasn't just some crappy mobile game. This game actually got people excited, and the fact that it got 51,000 followers for a mobile game is actually pretty good. I mean, there was a significant amount of people that played this game, essentially, and it's not there anymore. So I hope you guys continue to support me. I thank you guys so much. Maybe people will start playing the game more. But I'm going to keep this covered because when I saw SimCity Build It to cover on YouTube, I found this topic very interesting, found this game very interesting to cover on YouTube. Well, because it's kind of a weird situation, and it's kind of a unique situation. It's a game that, has an audience. However, it has really died, honestly. The audience is just not there anymore. They don't play the game. And you see that on YouTube, nobody's making videos. Right now, I'm like the only one that's making constant videos about updates. There's some. I'll give credit to some. There's some other people. Everyone knows the legends like Build It with Smith and Samantha. But it's really not there anymore. Anyways. Okay. Let's get through this. Oh, you said he's... just imagine something that looks a lot like a 3D SimCity on an iPad. Okay. Thanks to Jason for answering our questions. And I have to admit, I'm looking forward to getting some... Alright. The 3D visuals are quite nice, blah, blah, blah. It also seems for a number of typically irritating free-to-play tactics are absent, such as needing to constantly check in to collect funds from buildings. What? It also, read this, guys. It also seems as though a number of typically irritating free-to-play tactics are absent, such as needing to constantly check in to collect funds from buildings. That's not true! 2014, that's what they thought, that the irritation of having to go and collect funds from buildings was gone. That's not true! Because we know that to collect our taxes every day, we have to go. We don't collect taxes automatically, which would be awesome, right? That would be amazing! Heck, we could not play the game for a while, and we can just save up those simoleons for taxes, but no. We gotta go every day to collect those taxes. So, to this writer's disappointment, the game wasn't like that. You ended up having to have to collect your simoleons. And the game, instead of becoming a game where you could be more lax, you would probably have to keep coming back to it every now and then with specific stuff to do, like collect simoleons or, produce stuff. And it became a time-consuming game, essentially. It's not, what it became. I wish he would do this again, like 7 years later. What's his opinion? That would be amazing. But let's see. Instead, your buildings will generate income automatically even while you're away, and your funds go straight to your back account. You also won't have to worry about having a set number of workers to manage your projects. I don't know what he's talking about. He's probably talking about, the regular SimCity. Let's see. Alright, we're gonna wrap this up, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I appreciate you. If you watched this whole video, thank you, because you guys are the best of my fans. Are you guys that keep watching? Thank you so much. This is what he continues. Honestly, though, it seems like a streamlined SimCity with an emphasis on completing tasks and special items for upgrading buildings and creating special structures. That, and you could trade materials with other players using an in-game trading depot of sorts. Think World of Warcraft's auction house, and you got the general idea. Okay, well, I don't play that, so We haven't been able to get a concrete release date yet, but SimCity Build It will be available free on the App Store later this year. It already has been released. Also, I see on the right side of my screen that those stuff got advertisement. Wow, and that was 2014. So, you guys get free advertisement. That's okay. But that will be it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I just wanted to see, what someone who would know about this game, the guy who literally was responsible in the development team, interviews the vice president. We gotta get this going. I'm gonna see what I can do, and I'm gonna try to contact him. No, well, you know what? I'll try, but I know he's not gonna answer because EA. Again, you have to know the scope of who EA is. Look it up on Wikipedia, whatever. They're bigger than SimCity Build It, and that's why SimCity Build It has been neglected. I kind of wish it was sold, because if it was sold, somebody could make this game big, like the potential that it has to be. However, because it is under the wing of a big company like EA, who has bigger interests in SimCity Build It, it has been neglected, and that's just the situation, and that's just coming straight from what people thought in 2014 and what the vice president of EA had to tell us back then.